what's up, y'all? It's Papa Who's Cracking It. Today, about to react to this video by Omizi. It's titled "The Worst Family on TikTok Got Even More Disturbing." I remember reacting to these nasty people. I guess they're still being nasty on TikTok. The guy looking at the thumbnail, he looked like young Philly. Okay. Anyway, let's see what's going on with them. Let's watch.
A year and a half ago, we introduced you guys to the most terrible family
on TikTok. The Brazilian
family. A family of then 6 but now 7 living in a one-bedroom apartment that was absolutely disgusting. And just to catch you up if you're unfamiliar, this is a family who had a tragic financial situation, and honestly, there was a lot of discourse about them being poor, broadcasting it on the internet, potentially using their children for content instead of focusing on things like getting a job. But on top of that, they were people who were misusing and abusing animals. I don't even know if we can say that on YouTube. Still continuing to get pregnant and still avid drug users. They would selfishly sleep in their own bedrooms with luxury items like PlayStations and movies and hell sheets and comforters that were clean and bed frames, and subject their children to sleep in the living room where there were cats, fleas, rats, roaches, and no bed frames in sight. And all because the father didn't want to work and the mommy wanted to be some mommy influencer. Now, back then it was disgusting. Everybody was on the side of it being just one of the terriblest situations on the internet. But what if I told you it got worse?
After debating for some time, we decided we will not have indoor cats when we move. Prior to me and Drew getting together, I had one cat and he had one cat. The cat that he had was a stray that came in from outside, and the cat that I had was a cat that I received from a friend. Becoming a family, we brought in 2 other stray cats, so at one point we did have 4 cats in this apartment. That seriously did not last long, not even more than a couple of weeks, and then my cat Conscious, who's always been a free spirit, wanted to go outside, and so we let her do so. It's always been my opinion that if you have cats and they act like they want to go outside, let them outside, they're animals. And I don't mean for that to sound any bit insensitive. To me, it seems like you're doing the cat a disfavor when they're asking to go outside. That's where they want to be happy, and you're not letting them go. And let's be honest, as much as we love our fur babies, they sure do mess up the inside. I won't miss waking up to cat hair all over my counters. And yes, I am aware that's probably more than likely why we dealt with a flea issue to begin with. We just wanted our kids to experience having their fur babies inside with all the cuddles they wanted.
Wait a minute. Are you trying to dress up the fact that you threw your cats out? Imagine how bad a household has to be to where the cats are actively running away. I can only imagine if the children had this level of autonomy, what they would be doing. Now, she's trying to dress it up by saying, hey, we leave bowls of food and water outside, but, you know, that doesn't mean we're abandoning them. That's cat. There's a term for it called dumping. That's releasing a domesticated cat to the outside wilderness for anything and everything to happen to them. Now, even if this does mean leaving out a can of tuna for them on the occasion, that is still a crime. At least it's ethically bad. This woman is so worried about her family's public perception and their image that even in situations where she honestly doesn't have to share, nobody's even asking for this, or, you know, she could do some right, she is still filming it and trying to garner support from the internet. She's still e-begging. She's still pleading and prodding. She's not even taking handouts from her own mother, who is on social media begging for her to come home with the kids.
Watching my daughter make decisions to stay with a man who clearly does not care about her, doesn't care about his children, continues to bring her down, keeps her from even having the sense to reach out to her family and ask for help. I know you watch her videos and you see, oh gosh, she really hates her mom. There's really, you know, I'm not convinced she hates her mom. I'm convinced she knows that I'm one person who could rescue her, who could set her straight and help her come to her senses, and she's too scared to reach out to me. It's hard when you are living in the type of relationship that she's in to take it wrong and leave. I've seen it firsthand. I worked as a domestic violence advocate. I know it doesn't happen overnight. Anyhow, I haven't said a lot because I don't want my words to get twisted and for it to drive an even deeper wedge between me and Stephanie. I hope at some point our relationship can be reconciled and we can move past this. I haven't seen my grandkids in over a year. I have a grandbaby who I've only seen on social media when other people post videos of my grandbaby. The whole situation was heartbreaking and I have no words to say about it.
Now, our mother's on the internet giving
Sorry, I have it a little sped up and he also sped it up, so it was really fast. But basically, she says she ain't seen the kids in over a year and she's trying to mend her relationship with the nasty mama.
Place to stay. And the reason why she took it to the internet is because there have been past situations where people have been asking, where's your family? Where's your mother? Where's anybody who loves you? And she has vehemently denied that anybody is in her place and space, you know, her corner to really support her. But here she is with somebody saying, hey, you need to get out of the relationship that you are in order to protect not only your peace, but your children at this point, who you are subjecting to mistreatment and misbehavior, and come home. But no, Stephanie wants to make it her own way. And the only thing that I don't like in this situation is her painting Drew as the solo assailant of, you know, misbehavior towards these kids in this situation. Now, while he does have a litany, a myriad of claims against other children that he has in the relationship, which I will go into in a second here, it's also true that Stephanie has these same issues. She is doing the same things, because this isn't the first time. This is like the second time she's been with somebody who is detrimental to children. Sure, I understand having issues with your mom. Hell, that's why I'm not home right now. Let me not even do that in this video. My mama gonna slap me. But it's clear that the Jenkins are mentally unstable, and their inability to make clear and conscious decisions for the betterment of their family is hindering everyone. And the only thing that they can do is just cut on the camera and keep talking about the dumb shit. Wait, hold on one second, other Omar. I've got an opportunity for my other viewers. Look, it's springtime. That means summer's right.
Y'all go support.
Look, literally, or in your
Period.
on Spain, on with Omar.
And fuck no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer and me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not gonna happen. That lady popping up right now just, it sickens me, honestly. And that's what I'm saying about that. Because part of me that's healed and everything that she brought on my past just does not want to spend any time on her.
Let's be real here. The only trauma that your mom brought onto you was you not being able to sneak out while you were 15 and suck on some dick and suck on a crack pipe. Now,
oh my God. You can't say that. You don't know their situation. You don't know what that lady did. She could have probably been on some bullshit and been a horrible mother to her, and she ran in the other direction. So we cannot speak on that whatsoever.
I know a lot of people are going to say I'm being too harsh, but the reality of the situation is I'm not even going to invalidate her because I believe that there are toxic relationships between mother and daughter. Absolutely. But the decision that you have made going into your adulthood, like I'm inclined to believe that your mom isn't the real villain that you're trying to paint her out to be.
Now I know you're thinking, well, what about the cats? If you guys didn't find a place to go and you didn't find anywhere for the cats to go, despite the monster that everybody blew me up and wanted everybody to believe, I never wanted to abandon these cats. But from my research, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but all of the shelters and sanctuaries in my area are tapped out for resources. I wasn't able to find any family or friends to take them while we try to figure this whole situation out. It's freaking sad, and I don't think many people are going to understand it, but I had to make the decision of actually calling Animal Control back myself and asking them to take the cats because I don't want these fur babies actually to be abandoned. That's the last thing I freaking want.
But she's so pissed off that she would rather throw the cats out on the street and call Animal Control instead of letting her mom even take over the cats. This is literally her admitting to abandoning the cats. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Omar, she literally said that she called, Animal Control. But there is evidence, there is video evidence of people finding the exact same cats that she had in her house on the street.
Do you guys remember how the resilient Jenkins left their cats outside right before they got evicted? This is Shaylin, and she saved the resilient Jenkins cat, Milo. This is how Shaylin found Milo right outside the apartment that the resilient Jenkins were living in. And as you can see, he's missing a lot of hair.
These guys are even so stupid that there's video that I'm not going to play here. Even though I'm not an animal rights activist like, PETA or whatever the case may be. I think that this video, these actions are disgusting though. But there's video of Drew, the husband, father, whatever he is, deadbeat, in question, literally picking up and throwing the cat out of the apartment. I'm talking about taking Puss and Boots and throwing them out of the apartment while they are cleaning up. Again, I'm not even necessarily a cat person. I don't like animals at all, for real. But I do see the fact that if you take on a responsibility, you just don't throw it out on the street like this. You don't just abuse this. You don't just let cats go out into the streets that are domestic animals, starve them, they look like they have mange, and they're all types of battered and tattered for the world to then handle your problems. But the way that she's trying to dress it up on social media lets us know that she takes no accountability. This is a family that lacks accountability. And to further hammer in the point of her not being able to take accountability, her and her baby daddy could not find any sort of living situation. She claimed that they tapped out of all the resources. She claimed that they, did what they could, but they could not find a home for their children. So they decided to stay in some sort of motel. On what money? I have no clue. But she's had to move from motel to motel multiple times, painting it as a problem with, whatever system they're going through to get these things. But again, this is totally on the two adults who aren't getting employment to take care of their children.
Come along with us while we update our motel room and give us a little bit more space. Quick Google search of this place will show you what the inside of these bedrooms look like. Motel room, small bed. Now this one that we're moving into, it has a full-size couch that pops into a queen-size bed, a bunk bed, and then the bed is a queen-size bed, not a full. And of course, we're going to move the bassinet over as well, so if you can do the math, that's more than enough bedding for everybody. So this one comes with a full-size fridge. The bathroom is separate from what we're going to be using as our kitchen area. No more toothbrushes right by the cooking area. Definitely going to be a little more comfortable while we're here. I'm going to be brave and show some of the clips of the process. As while having a village is ideal, it's just Drew and I who do everything.
Not having a village, aka turning down the help that's there for you by simply leaving this deadbeat that you're with. Motel update, you got kicked out. Like, stop trying to be something that you're not and actively do right by your children. We haven't really touched on it a lot in this video, but her complacent ass baby daddy is no better than she is.
As you can imagine, I was chasing a toddler around and helping a fussy baby while Drew moved everything over. Isn't Drew supposed to be sore right now? Of course he's sore right now, but like I said, it's just him and I, and we have to manage and find ways to get things done.
Now I know what you're thinking. There's a reason why she needs to initiate the conversation of Drew being sore and make sure that story stays clean. Well, that's because Drew was in the hospital. He's had a lot of medical conditions that have popped up, which is also keeping them and the rest of the family from getting what she classifies as a W-2 job. Verbiage that nobody in their right mind would use.
Drew Jenkins is in the hospital. The dad of the resilient Jenkins just posted a video of himself in a hospital bed with a caption on the video that said, "Hey everyone, I'm not behind bars like I'm sure people thought I would be. I guess I had a 2 to 3 minute seizure, and I didn't come to until I got to the hospital. We don't know the cause, except I was a couple of hours late taking my heart medication." He then posted a video of his head with a slight red mark with a caption that said, "I hit my head on the wall and ended up with a few goose eggs."
Now, for all my seizure people in the chat, 2 to 3 minutes is not necessarily the most medical emergency ever. The prolonged ones are the ones that usually land you in the hospital. Those are the ones that are real signs of something going on. But let's say he did have a 2 to 3 minute seizure. He blacked out, didn't come to until he was in a hospital, which would have him out for, I would think, like an hour, thinking about how, long the seizure was. Somebody had to call 911, an ambulance had to come, or even this pregnant woman and her kids put him in the car. However long it took him to get to the hospital and then wake up after he was admitted. He had to be out for hours at this point, right? In his head, he would be so bumped up and lumped. That must have been a painful experience for you. It's crazy to me, though, how soon after he was able to move his TV and PlayStation into the home or the motel that they were living in. We sniffed this out, and with the help of social media, it is showing that Drew Jenkins is most likely lying about the fact that he had a seizure in order to avoid a court date with his old baby mama about some child support.
Drew Jenkins, I know you did not sit up there and play like you was sick and having a seizure to get out of going to court for that child support situation between you and your baby mama Arlene. That's nasty work. That is lazy. Then you put Stephanie. You are the master of manipulation.
I've been with my man for 3 years and I really know him. Man, I've known him since I was a fucking kid. I know his family. There's nothing wrong with him. You know what's wrong with him? He's lazy. He don't want to work. He lied to the system. Now I know he ain't showed up in court. At the end of the day, it's his fault.
She's cute. He's
At the end of the day, he chose this life.
The Jenkins family is full on liars. They are manipulators. They are deceivers. There have been opportunity for them multiple times to get help, to receive some sort of assistance, to receive some sort of report, to make the process easier for them. But at every single turn, they shirk responsibility. And the people that hurt the most are the children in this situation. I think probably the saddest thing, though, is that they continue to get online after all of this continues to be exposed again and again and again. And instead of, coming to the internet and saying, hey, this is the responsibility that I have, this is, the help that I need, can people help me with my fucking substance abuse addiction? They point the fingers at everybody else and take no accountability. To the point where Stephanie Jenkins is in some car on some coked up or whatever type of drug-fueled tirade, going off in the most delirious manner about her life and her family.
This is a lot of speculation. Like, people know what's what about me and Drew, but I'm not posting anything. I don't even know how to say it. I know that there's this term, you check yourself into the Facebook hospital, where you're trying to seek attention, you're trying to seek people being pitied. Pity, yeah, you're seeking pity. That's just not me and Drew, okay? We're very to ourselves, and the reason we were going to try to start sharing about his health journey was more just because it was on me. He wasn't even fully comfortable with it. It was me trying to slap people in the face with the reality that he's not just some man that sits on his ass and does nothing for his family.
Girl,
we've taken the steps, we've taken self-employment and pursuing different routes for not just his health, but my health included. And I don't give a rat's hairy ball ass about your freaking statements of, well, I got this, that, and the third disease, and my husband has this, that, and that, and he'll still go to work and all that. Guess what? That's your decision. I've seen way too many people, way too freaking young. And when I noticed that, hey, if I keep pushing my body this, that, and the third way, I'm going to cut 10 years off my life, and the same for my man, we're not going to do that. We're going to take the steps to worry about our health and be here for our kids as long as we possibly can. And I don't care if that bothers you.
At this point, we got to stop. We got to stop. Now they don't want to share their life, but they continue to post. Now it's about their health and their well-being as to why they don't, get some sort of employment. Literally, you said you were avoiding W-2 job because they don't work with your schedule and all this other stuff. But now it's about the health and all this other stuff like that. But the health wasn't the concern when you were having dirty and messy cats in your apartment, pooping everywhere, getting fleas and ticks and rats and roaches on your kids. Like, that was never a health concern for you. Nobody is buying any of these things that you are doing. Look, I never advocate for this. I never do. But if you're going to sit here and try to be disgusting, manipulate the public people, be selfish, and be an addict like this, I don't know if the system would be a better place for your kids. I'm willing to bet it probably is. Drew, relinquish your son to the other partner, the one that you made the baby with, his fucking mother, right? Full custody. None of this other weirdo shit y'all have going on. As far as the other kids in the house, I can only pray for y'all. The saddest part about all this is that they plan on to continue to make babies. There is some nasty fetish about having more babies and still being poor that's going around on the internet. And I can't condone that because this behavior is too common and we gotta stop supporting this shit.
Agreed. This is just disgusting. I mean, I want to feel sorry for people in situations like this, but not when they are not even actively trying to help themselves. The only people I feel bad for are the children, obviously. But yeah, he made a good point. Like, they probably would be better off in the system, which sounds terrible, but it's like, look at the conditions that they're living in. Like, can it get that much worse? I mean, things can always get worse, obviously, but it's like, I think that chances are probably better with like a foster family, because this is sick. I do hope that, they eventually get CPS called on them and they do get their, well, it's probably about to say, I don't want to wish anybody get their children taken away, but goddamn, like, why you got them living in a situation like this? Like, this is messed up. This whole situation is just fucked. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though, and I'll see y'all in the next time. Bye.